So, the PSVR. Sony just recently announced the price, showed some games, and everyone's talking about it. And I thought I'd kind of chime in on my opinion, although I do feel the need to preface this conversation by saying that I am a gamer, not a fanboy, alright? I have a PS4, I have a PS3 too, I have every Sony console, I have all the Microsoft consoles, I have everything. I play on tons of things. I'm not some kind of fanboy here to spread hate or anything like that. I'm just on YouTube trying to give my honest opinions about how I feel about stuff. So, now that's out of the way, I can talk about PSVR and you guys won't think I'm a fanboy, or you will, I don't really care, but I've said my piece and that's all that matters. So here's what I think about the PSVR, okay? One, I've never been a huge supporter of VR. Granted, I know that it was everybody's dream, virtual reality is real and immerse yourself in the games and all that stuff. And I just didn't care, and I still don't really care, to be honest. I think that the idea is novel, and I have used an Oculus Rift before, and it's a pretty neat little machine, but Sony themselves have said that the PSVR is not as good as the Oculus Rift, and the price shows that. It's $200 cheaper than the thing, and plus, the PS4 is also weaker than pretty much every PC on the market right now, and so you just kind of couple those two things together and you realize, okay, well, if the Oculus Rift is having trouble doing some of these kind of games, then I wonder what the PS4 is going to be able to output with this VR system. Even Sony fanboys, die-hard Sony fanboys like Mike Warrior, people who would never badmouth Sony in their lives, are saying that the PSVR is kind of underwhelming. That should show you something, if not a lot of things about how good the thing is. And of course, I can't speak for everybody because I'm not interested in VR really in the slightest right now, but I'm not really into it. It costs $400 just for the thing alone, the little box and all the cords and crap that it comes with, but then you also need the Move controllers and the camera to even get the thing to work, so if you don't have those things, that's like an extra, $100 on top of that? So it's $500, almost double the price of the console itself, and I just can't justify paying that for just some VR games, some VR mobile games from the looks of it. I mean, pretty much the only games they've shown off so far VR are various simulator type games or, look over here at the thing that's happening type games, and that doesn't really interest me at all. Like if we were getting some VR Uncharted, I'd be first in line for that. That'd be awesome. I don't know. VR is one of those complicated not issues, but one of those complicated gaming topics that is, getting really popular. People really like to talk about it, and people are really excited for VR, but I'm just not one of those people. I'm sorry. I'm just not really into the whole VR thing. I've used the Oculus Rift, and the Oculus Rift is fine and dandy. Even that doesn't really impress me. And so Sony themselves saying that the PSVR is not as good or impressive as the Oculus Rift, it says something to me and means I'm probably not going to buy it until quite a ways down the line. I mean, I'd be interested if they had some pretty cool games coming out for it, but every game I've seen just looks like mediocre at best. And, I just can't justify paying the $500 I need for all the equipment, plus money for some various VR games, when I know for a fact that as soon as I start, hooking this thing up, I'm going to be just thinking about playing Uncharted or Jak and Daxter, something, with quality. And so I'm going to do that instead. I probably wouldn't even hook the thing up because there's so many freaking cords. I mean, have you seen this thing? It's like an avalanche of cords. And I think that the fact that the box looks like a little mini eraser PlayStation 4 looking thing, I think that's actually pretty funny. But I will say that for people who do like VR, I think it's a good idea to get a entry-level, console-grade VR headset out there. And Sony knows that. There's going to be tons of people who are going to buy this thing. This thing is going to sell out like hotcakes, and, Sony knows it. They're going to benefit greatly from this thing. And, more power to them. It's an entry-level VR kit for people who don't want to shell out the money for an Oculus Rift. Great. I just think the technology isn't quite there yet. And, the Oculus Rift is fun and dandy and everything. I just think that we still have some ways to go before VR is going to be a more massively accepted way to play games. I don't ever see VR replacing the traditional controller, TV, or keyboard, mouse, and monitor, stuff like that. I don't ever see it really replacing those, that gaming style. I mean, gamers who enjoy the old school retro games are still doing that. They haven't adopted, the new consoles. There's some people I personally know, who don't have any console made past 1990. They don't even have a PlayStation. All right, they just keep to their old school. They really like the old Nintendo, stuff like that. They have a 4x3 TV and they just play in their house, and that's all. I mean, they don't really care for new games, and that's all their opinion and stuff like that. But my point though is that I don't think that this will ever beat out the traditional keyboard mouse monitor or controller monitor or controller TV style of gaming, just the regular sit on your butt and play a game. I don't think it's ever going to actually replace that. And you see me report this guy right now in this game. He was completely hacking. He had like 6 hours on the account and had 100% headshot rating. Hackers in Counter-Strike is really starting to get on my nerves. You better start doing something, Valve, because it's really starting to piss me off. But anyways, that's just me rambling for 5.5 minutes about the PSVR and what I think about it and kind of VR in general. So again, not really too interested, but I might pick it up later. I'm not sure. Haven't really decided yet. I just need to see more. I want to see more games. I want to see more features. Get on it, Sony. Make me want this thing. I'm like the exact person you need to start marketing this thing to. The person who's unsure. Make me need this. Anyways, make sure to leave a comment down below what you guys think. I want to hear what you guys think about VR, PSVR, and VR in general. And if you can, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that goodness, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay classy, guys.